how many people have been helped by Job's suffering because they read the book of Job and they find solace in it. Certainly. So God can bring about, we get Romans 8:28, that all things, evil and good, are working together for his great purpose, but that does not mean that he ordains the evil and calls it good. Now, he still says evil is evil, but he can still use it at times to grow us in our character and to bring about his will.
And there are many examples that I just can't reconcile with. Like, that's like the problem of evil and suffering. The statistical likelihood of being born somewhere else that you can't contact Christ.
Right.
Explanations like that really depress me, and so it's kind of stopped me from having a relationship with God.
So you're more agnostic. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I still feel like I can act as if there is a God, but I just don't have a personal relationship with him. I still act good, but I don't know where that objective truth of morality comes from.
Okay.
And I don't know. It's depressing to me that if there's no God, then all this might be a collision of particles of the universe.
Boo!
I don't.
Did you just write that chat?
I don't have a grounding truth to sort of give me a connection with God to make me believe.
So if there is no God, that depresses me. I'd be pretty depressed too if there is no God.
Right.
You look at Camus, Sartre, all the great existentialist thinkers, they said, you should be pretty depressed if you don't believe in God. But we just make up our meaning now if there is no God and say, well, you know, I'm going to find meaning here. I'm going to find my own type of hedonism, and yeah, I'll just live like life has meaning. No, it's depressing. If there is no God, if there's no objective meaning and purpose in your life, and there is no future, everything is just going kaput based off of the ultimate heat death of this universe, you should be pretty depressed. So I love that. Thank you for, first of all, your honesty. Secondly, I would doubt your doubts. So you're doubting that a good God would allow evil and suffering. Well, how do you know good can't come out of evil and suffering? And how do you know if there's an omniscient God out there that he doesn't have reasons for it? Secondly, you were doubting based off of salvation for those who never get the word. Well, how do you know that they never get the word? How do you know God doesn't reveal himself to them in a way that's very different from how he's revealed himself to you at Harvard? I mean, why does he have to reveal himself in the exact same way to a very different person living in a very different land?
You might say you can build a hospital on an ant's nest. And you can say, we destroyed your home, but look at all this great good that came from it. So, like, divine wisdom is beyond all of us here. We can never understand him. But that's never a satisfying answer, because that raises more questions to me, because you would be assuming a benevolent creator. Like, to the ant, you could be creating a slaughterhouse. And it wouldn't make a difference to us, because we don't know what divine wisdom is. So that terrifies me even more, because what if all the suffering goes to malevolence create? And then to the statistical income, like, what if I have friends and family members who are of a different religion, and they never really had the choice to sort of convert. And then that also depresses me, because what if they just never get the chance to be safe?
Yeah. So the first point is, so you want a shield, or you want God to intervene every single time there's a potential for any type of suffering? I mean, how do you even define suffering to begin with? Potentially you stub your toe, you're going to lose your free will. And if you lose your free will, you're not going to have the opportunity to have a relationship with God or other people. So God's going to give you a free will, and within that free will, there will be suffering based off of sin, based off of breakdown cosmically of this order that we have in this world, in this cosmos. There's going to be suffering. And so for God to step back and allow you to have free will and you to have the opportunity, sadly, to make poor decisions, but also enter into a suffering that seems gratuitous, that comports with who he is. He's not malevolent just because he steps back and says, I'm going to let you make your own decision whether to follow me or not. No, he's actually loving you because he's not being a jealous boyfriend. You don't need to get a restraining order on God. If God was stepping in and saying, nope, you're going to love me no matter what, and I know what's best for you, and I'm going to take you to heaven no matter what you want, would that be loving of him? I do not think so. I think what would be loving of him is to say, hey, I really want a relationship with you, but I want to respect your free will more, and so I'm not going to be that jealous boyfriend type. So if you want to go and date a different worldview, I'm going to step back and say, unfortunately, I love you, but I'm going to let you do that.
I think suffering is necessary, but I can't wrap my head around innocent suffering. Like, what possible good can how dying of leukemia do to the, like, I know this is sort of a cliche, but like suffering has a purpose, and me suffering myself could teach me about protection and self-defense, and the travesties of history can teach me about dangers of political systems. But like an innocent suffering of whether animals or children dying of a disease, and a person who very loves dies of an accidental cause, like, yeah, sure, I can understand divine wisdom, but you can't really have an answer to that.
We don't have an answer to that. And I would beg you to look at alternatives. There's a reason why Christianity is called the suffering religion, the suffering worldview, because it's the only one that offers a pretty good alternative to suffering. Do you think atheism makes sense? Don't think so. Do you think Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam? Do you think hedonism and just saying, I'm just going to go drink whenever I suffer? Do you think David Goggins, who says just go run 15 miles when your parent dies in order to deal with that pain? Do you think that makes the most sense in terms of stoicism? I don't think any of those come close. So you're exactly right. We're still going to have questions with the Christian faith, but you do know that if somebody dies for you, at the very least, they care about you and they love you. And if the claim is through the power of his Holy Spirit that he suffers with you today, that there's going to be great change, and that ultimately is a future where every tear from every eye is going to be wiped away, well, now you have some pretty good promises when it comes to dealing with your suffering. But I'm going to challenge you when it comes to leukemia and other issues. We're pastors. We've seen many people die of cancer. I've seen a woman who's a quadriplegic. She said, I am so pleased to be a quadriplegic, even though I hate it at the same time, but I'm pleased in the sense that we've seen many people die of cancer. I've seen a woman who's a quadriplegic. She said, I am so pleased to be a quadriplegic, even though I hate it at the same time, but I'm pleased in the sense of I get a closeness in my relationship with God now, unlike I ever had when I had full use of all my limbs. And so we see people not only come to know Christ, but grow exponentially in their relationship with Christ, and then others see it and come to know Christ and live way more fulfilling lives from that type of pain, where I don't know if you could just say, stub toe, good. Quadriplegic, always bad. No, there's growth in it, and there's growth coming, obviously, closer to Christ. But fall on a suffering God. Don't fall on atheism, which says, shouldn't be a big deal. You're just here. You're just an accident. There's no moral obligation.
I was baptized Catholic. I opened my mind and I looked at all the evidence. I was open-minded. I went to 12 years of Catholic school, proving that God's operating right here, right now between you and me. Prove it. Show me evidence.
The evidence that God exists is, first of all, the order and design of the cosmos points to some type of intelligent mind. Secondly, the evidence is life comes from life. Life does not come from non-life. That is why it is far more plausible for me to believe in the beginning God than it is for me to believe in the beginning matter and energy. Third piece of evidence for God's existence is moral absolutes. Every time you say, I should love, and other people should love, you are appealing to a standard outside of us. Well, the only way that standard can exist is if there is some mind prior to the human mind who defines and creates that standard. Fourth piece of evidence is love. If there is no God, love is simply a drive to preserve the genetic pool. My experience in life repeatedly shows me that there is more to love than simply a drive to preserve the genetic pool.
I was baptized Catholic. I was baptized Catholic. I opened my mind and I looked at all the evidence. I was open-minded. I went to 12 years of Catholic school, proving that God's operating right here, right now between you and me. Prove it. Show me evidence.
The evidence.
G-O-D. You guys never clip my good clips. You guys only clip me raging. It makes me kind of sad sometimes. Wish I had type of chat that clipped my good clips. That'll be lit. It still hasn't changed, bro.